Agora em português. Não, eu só vou continuar em inglês porque eu acho que é melhor para os meus colegas aqui, é mais correto para com eles, para continuar assim em inglês. So, good afternoon everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here again, and actually just to put a slightly different point on the beginning, it's been a great honour. I've actually been responsible for organising this event, and I've had a huge amount of help from a number of people, but it's a great pleasure to be able to bring my colleagues and friends from the Primum Familiae Vini to Brazil. It's been a mission of mine for a number of years because of the quality of the wine business here in the country. I think that that now that we have been here to show our respect for the development that is actually down, a lot of the responsibility has been down to what you have done to develop the business here in this country. It's to speak a little bit about myself and my wineries. I know that I'm probably the most well-known here amongst you all, but I'd just like to touch a little bit on the history and how actually we have evolved as a family over the last 4 generations, in that the traditional British term for a port wine producer was a shipper in the old days, so that meant that they were essentially an exporter of wines. They would buy, my grandfather would buy the wines from farmers, and then they would blend them and sell the wines. In the last 2 generations, it started with my father, and now we have consolidated this position in that we are now actually producers of wine, and we're going to see when we look at the 2 wines that we have here, is that now all our wines come exclusively from our own vineyard properties. We have now acquired, over the years, we have bought the properties that are the soul of the wines that we have, and we now have 950 hectares of vineyard spread across 24 different individual vineyard properties. So to give an idea of the how we have changed from being essentially a negociant, buying wines, blending and selling, to being wine producers, and there has been a change. There has also been a huge change in the Douro Valley, as I'm sure, as most of you know, where from the old-fashioned traditional winemaking techniques into bringing the winemaking into the 21st century using modern production techniques. So if we speak about these wines, I think that the Douro region, and I know many of you know the area, but I think it's to repeat, it is the largest mountain vineyard area in the world. It has an extraordinarily harsh climate, as you know. We have very, very cold winters around freezing point, but in the summer it transforms itself into an absolute oven of temperature, where in the summertime we have temperatures in excess of 40 degrees quite regularly throughout late June through July and August. To speak a little bit about the 2 wines that we are looking at, the 1980, actually very much like Philippe was saying, is that we're looking at a wine that was slightly overshadowed by other vintages. I always refer to the 1980 as a Cinderella vintage. It was a wine that was not actually commented in any great depth at the time when it was released, because it was overshadowed by the previous years. But in fact, it has turned out and proven to be an absolutely outstanding wine. So that's why I refer to it as a Cinderella. If you consider the concentration and the colour and the depth that we have in a wine that is now over 30 years old, and still with the youthfulness and the structure that it has, with very bright, firm fruit flavours in it, and giving a lot of great structure.